DW Africa Link.
Can a football shirt sell a country? Well, Rwanda believes it can. After 8 years with Arsenal, Visit Rwanda is now moving on to the front of Aston Villa's shirts in one of the biggest tourism sponsorships in African history. Millions of fans will see Rwanda every weekend in the English Premier League. But beyond the global exposure, is this strategy bringing in more tourists, investment and trade, or simply buying attention? That's what's coming up. I am Eddy Micah Jnr, and you are welcome to Africa Link, the podcast connecting you to the stories that matter.
Africa Link, every weekday here on DW.
Most countries promote themselves through television adverts or billboards. Rwanda has taken a different approach, using one of the world's biggest stages, football. From shirts to flight bookings, can football really change a country's fortunes? Let's discuss this with Dr Alphonse Habimana, tourism expert and analyst. And I also have DW's Alex Ngarambe with us. Welcome both of you to Africa Link. Alex, break it down for us. What's in this new deal?
To start with, this is the second deal that Rwanda has signed with the Premier League club after Arsenal that had been running for 8 years. But what we do know about or the difference between this deal and the previous one with Arsenal, we are going to see this deal being Rwanda doing what is called the front of the shirt sponsorship deal. That is the Visit Rwanda words written at the front of the jersey, which was not the case with Arsenal. I think for Arsenal was at the sleeves. So, and of course the advertising billboards in the stadium and the coffee deal. Of course, coffee comes as a package whenever we have Visit Rwanda or a sponsorship deal. We see that Rwanda also gets the opportunity to market its coffee and sell its coffee to people in the stadiums and around. So that still will be the same case with the new deal with Aston Villa. And the other thing we know is that it is going to cost £20 million roughly. And this is a deal that was signed and announced, I think, last week. So it is going to be an annual sponsorship deal, and I think it is going to last for 3 years. And after that, they can review, the two parties can review, and upon assessing, they can decide to take it forward. But for now, I think it's going to take 3 years, and it's going to be £20 million per year. So in a nutshell, maybe that's what we can say for that right now.
Right. Thanks for that. Now, things are a bit clearer now. And I'm just wondering why this is making such major headlines, somehow controversial headlines in some cases. I mean, for me, I hear this and this sounds like a very solid strategic marketing deal for Rwanda. Why is it coming across as controversial? I mean, is that what the issue is? What's been the general reaction?
Rwanda has been very aggressive in trying to market itself abroad. It has sponsored so many clubs, not only in England, but in France, Germany, Spain recently, and in the US. And they have become so aggressive under the background that they are trying to attract so many visitors to promote tourism, and they can earn as much as possible from visitors who come to Rwanda, and maybe the hospitality sector can also benefit, and so many other subsectors that can benefit from the wider ecosystem. But yes, over the years, it has been very controversial. Rwanda has faced it rough to try and convince their independent human rights organizations abroad. And the media in the West has also been bashing such kind of deals. They bash these deals and try to make them look controversial because they allege that Rwanda violates human rights back at home, They talk about lack of freedom of speech. They talk about lack of political space. So some of these topics and these human rights records have tainted badly when it comes to Rwanda trying to venture into international markets. So we have seen actually even during the Arsenal time, where Arsenal fans used to demonstrate, a section of them, not all of them, we can say a section of them used to demonstrate against this deal and trying to call for Arsenal administration to terminate the deal. But it went as far as it could. 8 years, I think you can't say that was a short period of time. But again, the pressure was always there from the human rights organizations, from the media, generally because of what they claim that Rwanda stifles some freedoms locally. So, but we have seen still Rwanda has gone aggressive and tried to find new markets abroad.
Right.
That has not stopped Aston. That has not stopped Aston Villa. This criticism has not stopped Aston Villa from signing a new deal. And I'm very sure Aston Villa was ready for this backlash because they are in the same league anyway with Arsenal, so they could see what was happening with the Arsenal deal. So I think they knew what they were doing and they are ready to face the backlash. But it has been controversial, equal as well, hailed for Rwanda being aggressive in the international market. So we can say that as well.
Alphonse, I'm going to come to you to get your take because this is kind of your field, you know, advertising, the benefits of it and all of that. How important is this deal to Rwanda? And really, what do you think it is seeking to achieve?
Rwanda has positioned tourism as a strategic driver for economic development. As the Visit Rwanda campaign uses global sports partnerships to strengthen destinations awareness, attract visitors, investment, and the conferences, and enhance Rwanda's international reputation. This is very important because of the awareness and the raise the country reputation to the global level. A signing agreement with the Arsenal increased global awareness of the Visit Rwanda brand, generated extensive media exposure, and supported Rwanda's broader destination marketing. As the tourism performance depends on many factors, but the partnership strengthened Rwanda's international visibility. At this level, Aston Villa, of course, has new audiences, which will increase audiences and connecting fans to travel experiences, promoting meetings, conferences, and encourage investment, of course.
Is it very clear the difference when it comes to tourism in Uganda from after 8 years of Rwanda sponsoring Arsenal? Is it very clear the huge difference it made or it has made before the deal was even signed?
After 8 years, Rwanda increased visibility and it generated income, of course. A product of tourism were also extended. And the meetings, of course, and the arrivals of visitors increased.
Alex, I mean, I don't know if you're a football fan. I would assume so. I'm just wondering what goes into selecting some of these teams. Is it just random? I mean, does Arsenal have a large fan base inside Rwanda, or did this deal make that happen? Now that it's Aston Villa, do we know what went into selecting Aston Villa, for example?
I really don't know. But for Arsenal, they enjoyed it. The fans, you could see the vibrance of the fans. They could identify with this brand. They could proudly come out donning on their jerseys, as proud as they can be that Rwanda is behind Arsenal. It is also believed to a large extent that even the president is a huge fan of Arsenal. So there was that connection between Arsenal and Rwanda. But for Aston Villa, I don't know, but well, even with Arsenal, we are not certainly sure that how much tourism revenues came to Rwanda as a result, particularly of that partnership with Arsenal, because they put the whole figure in a basket. It's a blanket cover. We say last year we made revenues in tourism to the tune of $685 million the whole year. That is almost 6% increment from the year before that. So, but we don't have that breakdown and the quantification to tell us that for the 8 years, the partnership between Arsenal and Rwanda, this is the amount of revenues, tourism revenues that came through as a result of this deal. We don't know.
I mean, that's a very key point you just made. Is that generating concern within the country? Again, as I said earlier, are people questioning if they are feeling the impact directly in their pockets compared to if those millions of dollars were spent in their communities, you know, in education, in health? Is that debate raging inside the country?
Well, I can't tell why they are not questioning, but it is clear that even, let's say, even the mainstream media, we simply announced the signing of the agreement, that deal between Aston Villa and Rwanda. That's all we did. And the following day, it was not in the media anymore. So that's what happened. I don't know why they are not questioning. But on the ground, really, I mean, we are in a dry season, for example, in Rwanda. We really have a huge challenge of water scarcity, to the extent that a 20-liter jerry can is going for as high as $1. That means 40 liters, those are $2. You know, so that's quite a huge water tariff. The food inflation has also been going up in the last 3-4 months. So the economic pinch is felt, but you cannot solely say that it is because of a huge amount of money taken to such deals. No, there are so many other global factors to play into this, like the Middle East war, like the high fuel prices globally, and so many other global factors. So, but in terms of the debate, whether the Rwandans are debating about the pros and cons of these deals, no, we don't have that vibrant debate to talk about it, really. Yeah.
Right. Alphonse, how can Rwanda ensure that the millions spent on sponsorships translate into actual development on the ground, that people are actually feeling this in their pockets, the benefits of this in their pockets?
Yes, thank you. Rwanda should put in place many strategies to evaluate if partnership has made a significant contribution to the development through checking visitor arrivals if has increased, tourism revenue and visitors spending, brand awareness, media coverage increased, and online searches, social engagement and investment increase through that partnership. Yeah, of course, and conference and booking of different people who need to come in Rwanda. Those are many tools which can be used to evaluate if that partnership has been impact to the development of the tourism or the country.
And are these things in place, or is this something we're calling to be in place? Because as Alex has been saying, it seems some people on the ground don't feel there's been much benefit, except, of course, people who know Rwanda. Maybe people come in more tourists, but that does not necessarily translate into creating jobs or, you know, making the health system better or the educational system better. So All these things you're talking about should be in place. Are some of them in place already? Do we know if the government is working actively on making sure that full benefit is gotten from such deals?
Thank you very much. These things would be evaluated through different initiatives and strategies of the government. As I am in the education sector and also in the tourism sector skills council, I know many strategies and initiatives of the government. And when there is a meeting, which is coming in Rwanda, international meeting, it helps.
So Alex, no doubt from a tourism expert perspective, Alphonse is optimistic that ultimately people are going to benefit. But of course, he's been very constructive in saying that a lot of things need to be more in place. So the government has to make sure that these things or these systems are actually working for full benefit. What are your final words, Alex, to wrap this up in terms of the challenges that remain, but also the optimism for citizens in the country and the government of what they really hope after 3 years of an Aston Villa deal that it will bring to the country?
Well, yeah, the optimism, I think, is there. We can't say tourism is lagging behind Rwanda. It has been growing over the years, from the time when we had 50,000 visitors a year to when we went to 300,000. I think last year it was approximately 1.5 visitors. So there are so many efforts that are being put in place by the government and other stakeholders. So the optimism is there. The investment is being done. I think there is also goodwill in terms of marketing Rwanda's potential in tourism. Rwanda has been very aggressive compared to other regional players or neighbors. Yeah, they have really tried to market Rwanda internationally. So we can only put in place the infrastructure that is needed and everything else will fall in place. So everything I think the government does is a goodwill. And I think in the past we have seen the community-based tourism initiatives where the communities around these parks benefit from the revenue, from the tourism revenues. I think by 10% of the revenues is reinvested into the communities surrounding these national parks. So the most important thing is the goodwill and the infrastructure in place. And I think Rwanda is building that. So we can only wait and see what the future can hold or what the future holds.
Right, Alex. Thanks. I mean, I think from all that you're saying, the optimism is there. Naturally, people will have their concerns. There are those that will, give thumbs up to such a deal. There are those that are going to question why millions of dollars are being spent on such deals when some may feel they are not getting full benefit. And you did mention some of the challenges that still remain in the country. So, I guess let's see how this Aston Villa deal goes. 3 years. And maybe after that, we'll come back and talk to you to find out what have been the positives, the negatives, and what the next deal could likely be. Many thanks to you, Alex, DW correspondent inside Rwanda. Also, many thanks to Dr. Alphonse Habimana, tourism expert and analyst. The next challenge is proving that the millions spent on sponsorships translate into lasting gains, more visitors, more jobs, more investment, and more opportunities. What do people inside Rwanda think?
Okay, so what I know is that when internationals know about Rwanda, they wonder what is Rwanda, what is in Rwanda, what new we can find in Rwanda. And about that search, they can find what is in Rwanda and they can be eager to come and visit Rwanda. So in order to sustain our tourism industry. So I think to advertise via Visit Rwanda and those teams can help Rwanda to boost tourism industry.
The criticism will always be there, and Rwanda at the end will always have tried to prove the critics wrong. So that's why they continue with this at one end. Because if they had given up, it would mean the critics are won, and Rwanda and the leadership in Rwanda does not easily give up. If they go for something, they have to go for it. Of course, at the end of the day, the Arsenal deal, one of the reasons why it ended was because of critics, the supporters, and the UK government sanctioning Rwanda, pressurizing Arsenal. So we cannot be sure how this one will be ended. But with the Washington Accords in place, although they are being violated and so forth, maybe the plans are to end it and they continue with the deals. But at the end of the day, the critics will be there. They will, when the Premier League starts officially, we will see more critics coming out, supporters of Aston Villa, human rights defenders, so forth, coming out to criticize Aston Villa, and then we will see how Aston Villa will handle it. But at the end of the day, because Aston Villa is a smaller team compared to Arsenal and very, very small, they might not be that much. Because I think the critics and those who oppose the government of Rwanda always target what they see as a bigger thing.
So it seems like the strategy is working and has had some impact, if you look at the tourism numbers, that is. According to Rwanda, since the Arsenal partnership began, UK tourist numbers have doubled, with tourism revenue reaching more than $650 million. Officials also say tourism now contributes around 9% of GDP. This makes it a serious economic sector rather than a side project. What do you think? Share your thoughts on Facebook and TikTok at DW Africa. Listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our DW Africa YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. This show was co-produced and edited by Isaac Kaleji, and I am Eddy Micah Jnr. Thanks for listening.
DW, made for minds.